Welcome back to Let's Explore Pitch. Today we're going to carry on learning about pitch by learning about how sound is made, so a little bit of science with music as well. And we're going to have a look at how we can create different sounds using found sounds at home, so slightly different to the junk instruments we did last week. We're going to also create some ostinato patterns. So if you know that word already, great, but if you don't, we'll learn about that a bit later, so that's another new word for you today. But before we start today, we're going to recap our boom chicka boom. I wonder if any of you have practiced that in the week. Did you have a go with anybody in your house or at school? Okay, so we're going to do it in 3 different ways again. Can you remember the 3 different ways we did it last week? And there were 3 key musical words that we used. Have a little think. One of them began with the letter P, one of them began with the letter D, and one of them began with the letter T. Have a little think. If you can remember them, tell somebody in your home or at school. But if not, don't worry. We're going to do boom chicka boom right now, and we're going to use the same 3 words to change how we do our sounds. So, if you can't remember, this might help you too. So first time, normal, remember this is what we call a call and response. So I'll do the call first and then you'll respond with the same thing. So if you're not standing up already, stand up, give yourselves a little bit of a shake, maybe a bit of a stretch, roll your shoulders, and here we go. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka chicka boom. Uh-huh. Ee-hee. One more time. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka chicka boom. Uh-huh. Ee-hee. One more time. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka chicka boom. Uh-huh. Ee-hee. One more time. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka boom. Say boom chicka chicka boom. Uh-huh. Ee-hee. No more times. Did you spot that mistake I did? Never mind. Okay, so how did we do that the first time? What did we change? That's right. We changed the tempo. So we did it much slower. What about the second time? We changed the pitch, so we did it much lower. And the last time, the third time, we changed the volume. What do we call that in music? That's right, the dynamic. So we did it much louder. Well done, everybody. So remember those 3 words? Tempo, how fast or how slow the music is. Pitch, how high or how low the sounds are. And dynamics, how loud or how quiet the music can be. Well done. Now we're going to learn a little bit about science and music. So I've got 2 questions for you that I'd like you to take a moment to think about. Question 1 is, how is sound made? Question 2, can sound travel through solids, liquids and gases? Now you might already know these answers if you've done this in science at school, but if you've not, take a moment to think about how sound might be made. Maybe you could get something and have a little go. So for example, I've got a glass jar here, and I've got my pen. So if you Think about how the sound is made from this jar by me hitting the pen on it. Okay, I'd like you to pause your videos in a moment and come back when you're ready. Okay? Right, have a good go, good luck, and I'll see you here in a moment. Pause. Welcome back. How did you get on? Let's talk about the questions that I asked you. Okay, so I asked you, how is sound made? Well, you might have found out that sound is made when objects or things vibrate. This vibration makes the air around the object vibrate. And that creates the sound which, when it enters our ears, we can hear. Now, you can't always see the vibrations, but they've got to be there because they make a sound which we hear. I'm going to show you on my violin now though, and I'm going to see if you can see my strings vibrating. The bow, I'm going to pull across the string. And with that action and the air around the string and the F holes here on my violin, we will hear the sound vibrate inside the body of the violin and come out of the F holes and enter our ears as the sound. Now have a look, I'm going to show you as closely as I can. Can you see this string vibrating? Welcome back. How did you get on? Let's talk about the questions that I asked you. Okay, so I asked you, how is sound made? Well, you might have found out that sound is made when objects or things vibrate. This vibration makes the air around the object vibrate. And that creates the sound which, when it enters our ears, we can hear. Now, you can't always see the vibrations, but they've got to be there because they make a sound which we hear. I'm going to show you on my violin now though, and I'm going to see if you can see my strings vibrating. The bow, I'm going to pull across the string. And with that action and the air around the string and the F holes here on my violin, we will hear the sound vibrate inside the body of the violin and come out of the F holes and enter our ears as the sound. Now have a look, I'm going to show you as closely as I can. Can you see this string vibrating? Here we go. Right, so let's have a look. So put my bow on the string. Can you see it's really still at the moment? The string is this part here. So, are we ready? I'm not making a sound and the string is really still. Have a watch and see what happens. Just make sure you can see that. Let's do it again. Once more. Did you see the string vibrating? It went a little bit blurry on the screen. Could you see what happened as well when I played it a little bit louder? So I pushed the bow onto the string to make it louder. Did you see what happened to the string? That's right, it vibrated even more. So the sound wobbled even more. The vibrations in the string made that bigger sound, made the bigger sound waves. So it was louder when it entered our ears. So that's just one example. Okay, let's also think about, can sound travel through solids, liquids and gases? So let's think about solids for a start. So maybe you could think about your home and the walls. They're quite solid, aren't they? Can you hear people out in the street, or can you hear your neighbours through the wall? I know I can. So yes, sound can travel through solids. And what about liquids? Have a think about maybe when you're in the swimming pool and you go underneath the water. Can you still hear the sounds? You can, can't you? But the sounds change, don't they? So they're really muffled. Okay. And can we hear sound through gases? Now this is a little bit more difficult to show you, but the answer is yes, we can hear sound through gases. So what about the instrument that we all carry around with us all the time? That's our voice. How is sound made when we use our voices, when we speak or when we sing? So how is sound made? How do we hear each other? What happens in here to make a sound? Well, when we go to speak or sing, air rushes from our lungs and makes our vocal cords vibrate. Now, vocal cords sounds like there's quite a lot of them, but actually there are only 2 vocal cords and they are housed inside your voice box, otherwise known as the larynx. So that is in this area here. And as I say, it's like 2 muscles, a bit like 2 elastic bands. And when we breathe in and move our mouths to speak or to sing, la, imagine that those 2 muscles are wobbling around, they're vibrating, and that makes the sound of your voice. Now, everybody has slightly different pitches in their voice, and that's to do with how tight or relaxed your vocal cords are. So we've all got different pitches in our voices, and we can sing higher notes and lower notes. So that is to do with your vocal cords and how much they stretch or relax. So think about an elastic band on a box, stretched over a box or something, or you've got an elastic band that's stretched, and it's a thin elastic band. You can have a go at this later on if you like, after this video is finished. So you've got an elastic band and you stretch it, and it's a thin elastic band, and you twang it and it's got quite a high pitch. Now if you've got a thicker elastic band and it's shorter and you twang it, it's got a much lower sound. And that's a similar way to how our vocal cords work. So if we want to sing higher, our vocal cords stretch a little bit, they get a little bit longer and a little bit thinner. And if we sing a little bit lower, our vocal cords are a little bit more relaxed and they're a little bit shorter, and because they're shorter, they're a little bit thicker. So our instrument that we carry around with us all the time is our voice. So next time you're singing or speaking, just think about your voice and think about looking after it as well. So you don't want to strain it too much. So think about that kind of middle sound, but also think about what your vocal cords are doing and have a go with some elastic bands when you've got time after this video. We're now going to investigate different pitch sounds by using some found sounds from around the home. Now last week we used some junk instruments, so bits of cardboard box, empty packets. But today I want you to go and find some found sounds. A found sound could be something like this. This is a candle holder. Have a little listen. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to go and find a few different found sounds, but I want you to listen really carefully to the pitch that they make. And I want you to come up with a few different pitch sounds. That could be between 6 to 8 different pitch sounds. Okay, so 6 to 8 different items and found sounds. Now, if you need to use some junk sounds as well, that's fine. So for example, like the jar I had earlier, you can use those as well. So what I'd like you to do is to pause your video and take your time finding those things, and be careful with the things that you're finding around your home or around the school. And then I want you to come back with your found sounds, and I will share mine with you as well. And then we will investigate the pitch of those a little bit further. Okay, pause your video and I'll see you in a moment. Bye. Welcome back. So how did you get on with finding your found sounds? I hope you've got a few different ones. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sounds. So let's have a listen to those first of all. Let's start with the keys. My cup. My jar. Now I found that I can make 2 different sounds with my candle holder. On the side Notice the difference when I start holding it as well. So the vibrations stop because my fingers are stopping so many vibrations. So there's not as many that go round. So it's actually a duller sound as well, isn't it? Doesn't ring so much. But also inside, it's got glass. So listen to this sound as well. It's a bit like 3 in 1. Three instruments in one thing. I've got my cheese grater. And also my bowl. So let's have a little listen. So 6 different sounds. I'm going to ask you to stop your video in a moment, and I want you to investigate the sounds of your instruments and see if you can play them in more than one way. So for example, like I did this piece here, this candle holder. So we got 3 different sounds out of that, didn't we? I want you to listen as well to see if some are really easy to tell what pitch they are, and some might be a little bit more difficult. So have another listen to mine first. Now, I think it's quite hard to tell what the pitch of my keys is. And I think it's quite hard to tell where the pitch of my grater fits as well, what the pitch of that is. But that doesn't matter because we need some of those instruments later on as well. So, pause the video, investigate your found sounds a little bit more and see what you find out. It might be worth taking a note of what you find out because it'd be really good if you could put a little report together. A bit like a science investigation, really, but with musical sounds. Okay, so pause the video and I'll see you in a moment. Have fun! Okay, I hope you got on really well. So you should now have a few different sounds that you can play around with a little bit. So going back to the beginning of the lesson, do you remember I mentioned a word beginning with O? That word was ostinato. Now, if you don't know already, ostinato means a repeated pattern. And it goes over and 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 over. Anyway, so the pattern keeps going without changing, an ostinato pattern. And we can create 2 different ostinato patterns, and we're going to have a go at that now. So the first one is a rhythmic ostinato. And that means we just think about the rhythm that the sound makes. And the second one is a melodic ostinato. Any ideas what that might be? That's right. In music, melody or melodic means to do with a tune. So that's where we're going to use a few more of our pitches to make up a little tune that we can repeat over and over again. So, with your instruments, you're going to do the same, and I'm going to think about, we talked earlier about some of mine having more of a clear pitch than others. So I'm going to keep my clear pitch instruments, my sounds, for my melodic ostinato, for my tuned pattern, and I'm going to use my grater and my keys for my rhythmic ostinato. So the pattern that we just focus on being a rhythm. Now this can be as simple as you like because it's a repeated pattern, but remember it's a rhythm, so you need to have a mix of long and short beats in there. If we don't, and we just have the same beat over and over again, can you remember what that is in music? That's right, it's the pulse. So we want a rhythmic ostinato, not a pulse ostinato. So experiment with the sound. So I'm going to pick up my keys. And let's think about what I could do. So something simple, long, long, short, short, long, 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 short, short, long. But I want a bit of my cheese grater in there as well. So let's have a little go. So. Whoops. I'm happy with that. Is my ostinato. Okay, Once you've got your ostinato, you need to think of a way to write it down, because you need to remember what it is for next time, because we're going to be using these patterns again. So you might want to get a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen and think about how you might want to write that down. Now I've got long, long, short, short, long. So I'm going to write mine down like this. So I'm going to have a line. I don't know if you can see this. Let's have a little look. So I'm going to have a line. Let's do it here. That's better. Long, long. And because I've got short, short, we could do 2 short lines and a long line. Long, long, short, short, long. Or we could do long, long, join some together. Long, long, short, short, long. You could do it however you like. You might want to do long, long, short, short, long. So however you're going to remember your pattern, that is fine. So can you see them there? Long, long, short, short, long. Long, long, short, short, long. Or like this. Long, long, short, short, long. However you work out how's best for you to remember your piece, that is fine. Now, we've just got to add one more thing. Can you remember what it is? Or what do you think it might be? That's right, we need to know what sounds we're having. So, for my first long sound, I did my keys, didn't I? So, because I'm not a very good drawer, I'm just going to write a K underneath, and I'll show you in a minute. Keys, keys, greater, greater, keys. So, K, K, G, G, K. Can you see that? Okay. All right. And if you are happy with that, you can draw another 2 lines with 2 dots, and I'll show you this in a moment. 2 lines and 2 dots before your pattern and at the end of your pattern. Now, do any of you know what that means in music? Have a little think. What do you think it might mean if you're not sure? Remember our ostinato patterns, we play them over and over again. So what do you think these might mean? That's right, they're called repeat signs. So this one here and this one here, we're going to repeat the music that is in between there. And you can do this as many times if you like. So here's my pattern. Long, long, short, short, long. Long, long, short, short, long. Once you're used to it, just play it without the words. Okay, so go away and think about the sounds that you've got. Decide which ones you want to use for your rhythmic ostinato, and I would pick 2 maximum just for now. If you want to pick 3 and you're a little bit older and you've done a little bit of this work before, then by all means choose a few more, but don't make it too complicated. Okay, have a go and then come back when you've done that and you've written it down somehow, or you could record it. If you use GarageBand on an iPad, you could record it into there, or if you've got another way of recording it, by all means record it as well. Then we're going to come back and we're going to have a think about our melodic ostinato, and that will be one of the last things we do today. Okay, so pause your video, have fun, and I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. I hope you got on really well with your rhythmic ostinato. If after this video is finished you decide you want to change it, then that's great, no problem at all. When we're creating music, we're not always necessarily happy with the first thing, and when we listen back to it, we might think, oh, I liked that before, but I'm not so sure now. So you're welcome to change anything that you don't like. This is your piece. Okay, so our melodic ostinato, so using our different pitches. Again, try and keep it simple and think about having a rhythm in it as well. So not just 4 different sounds. And I might make mine a little bit longer. So let's have a little listen. Let's try and add in the bowl this time. Change it around a little bit. Not bad. I'm not completely sure that I like that. Let's have another go. Okay, that's not too bad. Notice the beginning of my piece has the same rhythm as my rhythmic ostinato though. Long, long, short, short, long. Long, long, short, short, long. So maybe we might want to change that, just so it's a little bit different. So how about long, long, sorry, short, 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 long, long, short, 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 long. That's what I'm going to have as my melodic ostinato. I'm getting all confused. So again, think of a way you want to write that down. So I've got short, 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 long, long, short, 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 long, short, 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 long, long, short, 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 long. So notice this is twice as long as your rhythmic ostinato. But that doesn't matter, because remember, we play these over and over again, so they will fit together. Now, if you're good at drawing, draw what you've got. So I'm not so good at drawing, so I'm going to do a big bowl shape for my candle holder, a smaller one for my jar, and that again. And a kind of similar to my jar for my mug. You're going to be much better at this than I am, I'm sure. Oops, running out of space. You might want to space out your notes a little bit, because I've not left enough space and they're a little bit squished together, I have to say. Okay, can you see? So here, that's my candle holder. So I could put some crisscrosses on that to make it a little bit clearer. Which one is which? Because they're a little bit different sizes. Oh, I think I've gone wrong. Oh dear. Never mind. Okay. Let's colour those one in completely. So you can decide when you're having a go how you're going to do yours and make it a little bit better than mine. So let's just listen to that one more time. Short, 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 long, long, short, short. Okay. Now, if you want to take it one step further, this is my lowest pitch, this is the middle pitch, and then this is a higher pitch. So my first quick ones, low, 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 and then it got a bit higher for my long ones, and then low, 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 really high, low, 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 middle, low, 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 high. So you could, once you've had a go for a start, have a go at drawing it like this. So can you see my low ones are at the bottom, and then my middle sounds for my glass jar are in the middle, my low sounds for my candle holder, and then my high sound for my mug is that little bit higher. So think about hand levels when we're using our voices, when we did our earlier on. Okay? So that's quite a bit to think about. So you might need to have a go at this after this video is finished as well. But have a go now, see what you come up with, and have a go at writing it down just for your first bit. Okay? So by the end of this, you'll have a rhythmic ostinato and a melodic ostinato. And remember, it's your piece of music, so there are no wrong answers. Have fun. Pause your video and I'll see you back here in a moment when you're ready, just to finish off today's session. Well done, everybody. Pause your video. Welcome back. How did you get on with that? As I say, if you need to take a little bit more time after this video, then you can carry on having a go at your different rhythmic ostinatos and also your melodic ostinatos. We actually call ostinatos ostinati. That's the plural for ostinatos. Okay, so I've just put my 2 patterns into one score. Now a score is how you write your music down. It's just a way to remember what you've done. So it's very simple. Can you see? That's the rhythmic ostinato I did with my keys, keys, greater, greater, keys. And that's our repeat sign. And then I just cut in half my melodic ostinato because I realised the second half of the pattern was actually the same as the first half. So can you see we've got the short rhythms and then the middle and then the short and then the high pitch here. Now I've not actually put on there my drawings, so make sure you do that so you remember what you've played next week when we come back to this. So we've learnt a lot of new words as well today. So we've learnt ostinato, which means a repeated pattern that goes over and over and over and over. Okay, we won't go there this time. Over and over again. And a melodic ostinato is a repeated pattern that has a tune, so it has different pitches in it. And a rhythmic ostinato is a pattern where we just think about the rhythm of the sounds rather than the pitch of the sounds. Okay, next week, if you can save 5 glass jars, or if you can find 5 glass jars or small glass bottles, you might need an adult to help you with that. Then we need 5 different jars or 5 different bottles. Now they can be the same size or they can be different. It's up to you. And you'll also need a jug of water next week as well. Okay, so lots of new words. We've got our words that we learnt last week as well. Remember our dynamics. Our dynamics. The volume. Our tempo, the speed of the music, and our pitches, how high or low. So have a look at your piece again before I see you next time. You might want to think about adding in some dynamics or maybe changing the tempo. So you might want to do it a bit quicker. Or you might want to do it much slower. Etc. Okay, have fun with it. Experiment with some different sounds. You might find some sounds during the week that you like better than you've got this week, and that's absolutely fine. So think about the words we've learnt, have another go, and I really look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, stay safe, and have fun.